Yeah,
Home this week.
long road trip to Tech in Jacksonville, and dropped both of them. Now we're 0-3 in the conference. Started off with 3 road games. Our two logistically the 2 toughest road trips that you have, to Moorhead and then to Cookeville and Jacksonville, Alabama. And we're in it in every game that we've played. The 3 road games right now, we've had opportunities to win the games. Had an 8-point lead inside of 6 minutes in the first 2. At Tech, we just didn't execute well down the stretch. We turned the basketball over, which led live ball turnovers, which led to transition points for them late in the game. Cost us the lead, and that's was a little different than the Moorhead loss late in the game, losing at Moorhead. We got what we wanted. We executed. We got to the free throw line, just didn't make free throws. At Tech, it was just a lack of execution, and really felt a sense from our players that it was they were thinking more about what had happened at the end of the game at Moorhead during the Tech game. Like the self-talk on the bench was, we're okay. We're not going to let this happen again. They're thinking more about the last game than they were focusing on the task at hand and being process-oriented and playing in the moment, which is what we constantly preach. And, I thought that got us. I think it's a young team that has failed to win a game on the road to this point. And, I think that kind of crept into our psyche during the course of the Tech game. Jacksonville was a different attitude. We got out early, played well at the very beginning of the game, and then they made some adjustments, went small, knocked down a bunch of 3-point shots. We didn't react very well. Our energy level really dropped for about the last 12 minutes of the first half, and then went in at halftime. I had a little discussion, about why we play the game, and just basically challenged them to play with more energy. Came out in the second half and did a great job. At one point, very beginning of the second half, down 18-20, and you come back and you've got a chance to win the game in regulation because of the energy level we played with. And there was no thought about what happened the last game or the game before or what happened in practice. It was all just playing basketball. And I thought that served us really well. Gave us an opportunity to win a game against the only team in conference with a winning record in Jacksonville on the road, and we just didn't make a play at the very end of regulation with a chance to win the ball game. We missed a shot. Those things happen. Then you go into overtime, played with energy, and it's a 1-possession game with a few seconds left. We get the defensive stop we want, and we give up 4 offensive rebounds on the final possession, including 1 on the free throw lane on a missed free throw. And that was the difference in the ball game. Our big thing was if we out-rebounded Jacksonville, we would win the game. They ended up out-rebounding us by 4, and those 4 offensive rebounds at the very end really cost our team a chance to win a game, and where they really stepped up from an energy standpoint and from a competitiveness standpoint, and did a nice job on the road. And to highlight our inconsistencies as a team to this point, which makes it very difficult to win on the road. It's already difficult when you're inconsistent. It makes it more difficult. Olivia Cunningham had her best game as a racer against Tennessee Tech. She came out with a fire in her eyes. She really attacked the basket. Had finished with 24 points and only 2 turnovers. By far her best game in a racer uniform as a freshman. And then the next game came out and kind of struggled a little bit. Keyshawn James struggled at Tennessee Tech, and then came out against Jacksonville and had by far her best game as a racer with 28 points, 9 rebounds, and only a couple of turnovers. So we get everybody playing well together on the same day. I think we'll be competitive in conference, and we'll have a chance. And then Kiana Kirby right now, these first 3 road games in conference, she's shooting 23% from the floor, and we're going to roll with her, and we got to figure out a way to get her going a little bit. Hopefully having some home games will help, but she's going to shoot the ball better than 23% from the floor. That's just her track record. So should be able to glean a little bit of confidence from a tough 3-game road trip to start conference. And but we've got to start with this home game on Thursday night against Tennessee State.
You kind of talk about the fact that obviously you started off conference with 0-3, but it very well easily could be 3-0. As a coach, do you look at it more positive light because of that? You could easily be 3-0, or is it disappointing because of how close you are?
For me personally, I look at everything in a positive light. So, I take the positive away from it, and you talk at the beginning of the season, if you ask every coach in our league, everybody would tell you 4 or 5 conference losses is probably going to win the league this year. So you think you go 4-4 on the road and go 8-0 at home, you got a chance to compete for a championship. We're just concerned about one possession, one game at a time, but I look at it and I feel good about where we are. In one sense, you wish you could have won the games. We're struggling trying to find, okay, where's that extra 1 or 2 possessions? I mean, players are going to make mistakes. Young players, old players, everybody makes mistakes. Coaches are going to make mistakes. So, we're really trying to work to find, okay, how can we get this team an extra possession or 2? Because if you change 1 possession in each of the first 3 conference road games, we're 3-0. So for me, it's a positive. And if you dwell on the negative, then more negative things are going to happen. So, we've got to take the positive from it, learn from the things that have happened, and grow as a team. That's all you can do.
You talk about Keyshawn as far as her last game, 28 points, career high. Just kind of talk about her. It seems like as the season's gone on, she's gotten a lot better, a little bit more confident.
Yeah, and she's, it's a difficult thing for her because we're actually playing her at a couple of. She plays on the wing and she plays as a power forward. She's really done a nice job. She's had a lot of pressure on her. Her and Olivia both, as true freshmen, have had a lot of pressure on them handling the basketball and making plays. They are talented. They are players that have to make plays for our team to be successful. It takes a lot of pressure. Keyshawn has really done a great job growing from game to game. And within each game, she'll have her moments where you're thinking, gosh, what is she doing? But what she's doing is she's playing extremely hard. And, mistakes are going to happen. They're going to happen when she's a senior. There'll be fewer of them. What we have to eliminate with her and Olivia are the turnovers that they commit where they're trying to do a little too much on a particular play. Over dribbling, over penetration, those type things. But very pleased with the effort.
Turnovers with too wide seem to be a problem. 3 conference games are at 3.1
more than our opponent, no question. And that comes with, one, part of it's being on the road a little bit, but this team is not a great team from a turnovers per game standpoint to begin with. We've gotten better throughout the season, and again, we have young players making decisions and handling the ball in late game situations, and for whatever reason, each game it's kind of like they're pressing a little bit. Everything's flowing fairly well, and then you get to the final 5 or 6 minutes and we tighten up some. So we've got to find a way to be more comfortable down the stretch, and hopefully being in that experience, being in those situations helps us, because we can run situations in practice all day long, and it does not equate to being in the game. So we've just got to get more experience, and some of our more veteran players, Kiana Kirby, we need to step up and do a better job from a leadership standpoint as a team, as a coaching staff, from our veteran players, everybody involved, to try to help those younger players feel confident in themselves to make plays. Tanya, verbally, vocally, she could do a lot for this team because she understands the game very well, and that's one of those players. She needs to help us. It's tough from her position as far as handling the basketball, but from a verbal standpoint as a leader, she certainly could help us.
Yeah, Tennessee State Thursday. What do you expect out of that game?
TSU's struggled on the road like we have. One thing they're going to play with a lot of energy. Very veteran team. They have 3 very good senior leaders. Chelsea Hudson, an all-conference forward, very talented, can play inside out. Very aggressive, intelligent player. They have a senior point guard in Rachel Allen that does a very nice job running their team and gets them in the position they need to be in to be successful. And then it's just a veteran group that's going to come in and play extremely hard. They've got a Hall of Fame coach, so they're going to come in and they're going to play well. There's no question about it. They're going to be very aggressive defensively, and we have to withstand that. When we talk about turning the ball over. We've got to take care of the basketball, and we've got to rebound with them.